Hi, I'm Drew, a drag queen living in LA with my husband Curtis, my dog JB, and a Subaru Impreza with a heart of gold.
And I'm Grant. Well, that's probably why you get bad gas mileage.
It's too much gold. There's too much
It's
gold.
really heavy.
Yeah,
I'm
no, I
Grant.
understand.
I'm in Florida. I'm in Florida, and I have a wife, 4 kids, and I'm a former pastor. And I have this shirt on, and Drew loves it.
Yeah, and I hate it. I hate it. But one thing I don't hate is the Super Bowl. I love a sport. I love the downs. There's 4 downs. There's 4 downs. And I watched the Super Bowl and I got to explain it to my straight brother who missed it.
I didn't watch
missed
it. I didn't watch it at all.
And I watched the whole thing.
We dive deeper into purity culture. And Drew, did you know that's his purity ring for real? Did you know that purity culture is set up to empower cisgender heterosexual males? Did you know that?
We all knew that. Yes.
And it's there to demonize female sexuality, female
Ladies.
empowerment, and queer people.
Gay people, yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
I learn something new every day.
Trigger
Anyway.
warning. It gets dark. Enjoy the
It's-
episodes.
Some of it's tough. Okay.
Hi, I'm Drew, and I'm gay.
And I'm Grant, and I'm wearing a yellow shirt again. Drew,
You do look like a tour guide. You
Do
look
I?
like the white guy that moved to the island, and you're like, I love this culture. I love this culture so much, I'm going to be a tour guide.
I got this at Primark because we finally got a Primark, and I feel so fancy.
Ooh, come on, fast fashion queen.
I know you hate this shirt. You said it last time I wore it, and I was
do.
undeterred because I like it, and people in the comments said they liked it, and the people who said they didn't, I think Paula deleted it, so I never saw a bad comment, but I'm sure there were many.
Thank you, Paula, for
and they're
doing
all
that.
gone.
Thank you
Paula,
so much for doing that.
You are more
You are the
important
real
to me
MVP.
than my Zoloft. If I didn't
You're
have
the
you,
real MVP.
I don't know what I would do. Speaking of
You're the
MVP,
real MVP.
Drew, can I tell you about the Super Bowl last night? Let me tell you.
Oh my God, I wish you would.
It was one team versus another. And I got to be honest,
Grant,
brother.
let me tell you about it. Let me tell you about it, you idiot. It was the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And boy, was it a whooping. Because,
They take him out by the
Grant,
shed. They could take him out behind the
it's-
shed.
and they fuck. It sounds to me.
Oh, no.
like
That's where
you
get the whooping.
Sounds to me like you didn't see the big game, and it sounds to me like I already know that I saw it. I watched the whole thing.
For the first time since 1998, I did not watch the Super Bowl.
Why?
Not a minute.
Why did
of
you
it.
watch it in 1998? What was
Church.
going on? Church loves a big game.
Church.
Oh, yeah, that's something that Alexa says all the time. She grew up Church of Christ. And you know, Church of Christ, they don't play instruments.
No instruments. None.
And it always bothered her because you've heard her. She's an incredible singer. And so she loves
Well,
the pageantry and the such as. Grant, we can take a lot away from her. We cannot take away her voice. She's too talented.
I'm
listen, I
going
wish
to
I
continue
could.
this gaslight. I'm going to continue the gaslight. Yeah.
Gatekeep, gaslight.
She's decent.
No, she's incredible. But
Look, trans people have had it too good for too long, Drew, and we got to take them
if
down
there's
a peg.
one group
We
of people
gotta
who's had it
take 'em down a
too
peg.
easy.
Right.
Who is that? James Acaster?
Especially
is that a
now.
James Acaster joke, I think?
Yeah. James Acaster.
I bet he has so
James
many
Acaster.
cubes. Anyway, the
Do you think they're in the right place?
but the thing that bothered her, I think most of them are. I think the thing that bothered her the most was that, okay, we can't have instruments in the church and every kid has to attend like the service. You can't and you have to pay attention the whole time and whatever, it's so important. But on Super Bowl Sunday, they'd lower a screen and they would just play the game instead of having church. I love it. American Christianity is
I've
so
been in
good.
different types of churches where I was in a church where Super Bowl Sunday, you go to fucking church. Nothing changes. So there was no Super Bowl party. And it would be like 12 people, the 12 people who wouldn't get invited to a Super Bowl party.
We call
the
those the
disciples
disciples.
all showed up, and then we talk about who the Judas was. And that was the one just going around kissing everybody.
No. I'm going to kiss him. No. You could just point him out to us or Tell us what he looks like. No.
No.
I'm going to kiss him. Sorry, go ahead.
And I've been in the churches where they throw the big Super Bowl parties. And so when we were in middle school, that was the first time I probably ever watched Super Bowl, because our dad wasn't into sports. He was into
thank God.
Old movies.
Our mom
I guess.
was. Our mom was really into sports.
Basketball, not sports in particular.
Yeah, we didn't watch football growing up. My husband is Philadelphia. He's from Philadelphia. So obviously we were excited for the Eagles. So we've been watching a ton of Eagles games this year. Was it last week or a couple weeks ago? I said this. I turned to my husband, Curtis. I said this to my husband, Curtis. This is Curtis.
Remind me his name one more time.
Curtis, I want to know what the rules are. And I learned about why they down, how many times they can down.
How many times? Wait, how many times can they down?
4. And what it means and what happens if they don't hit the computer line that's on the field that they can't see, but we can see it because we have computers.
What increments of points can they score in?
Oh, Grant. That's such a question someone like you would ask.
How much is a touchdown?
Grant, you're being so crazy right now.
You've watched a ton of Eagles games this year. How many points is a touchdown?
6.
Perfect. And then, of course...
6 points. Well, you have a couple options. You can kick for 1.
Which is,
or you could do what we call a +2 AC on the screen. It says +2
2-point conversion. You can go for the 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the field goal,
there's another, which is 3.
And there's another opportunity to score.
There is. And I'm glad we're talking about it. I'm glad we're talking about it.
2 points.
You get 2 points if
on
you
this
do it.
play.
On this,
what is it?
On interference. Conversion therapy.
Well, okay. If you can convert the quarterback to be heterosexual.
Wait, I know this because this happened yesterday, didn't it?
I didn't watch a single second of the game. I don't care about it.
Okay, start to say it, and then show today. Start to say it, and I'll finish it.
It's one word.
It's one word. Here, just whisper it to me into your microphone.
Okay, safety. I just said the whole word.
Safety.
A safety. Do you know what that is?
So what? I'll explain. Yes, of course I do. Obviously, this did happen yesterday. Okay. So they just did a big tackle, and they're all getting up, and one of them goes, "I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. You're so big. You just threw your body on me. Look at me. I'm the kicker. I have no muscles. This is so fucked up." And then they go, "Oh wait, he doesn't feel safe." And then the ref comes in and goes, "Oh baby,
you don't make you feel safe. You should 2 points.
2 points. 2 points.
2 points.
Yeah."
And then they go, "Oh, can I have 3? You said 3. No.
No,
2 points are safety."
That was silly. Maybe I didn't learn all of it, but I did learn some.
The defense tackles the ball carrier in their own end zone. Does that make sense?
I don't care about any of that.
Was it a great game? Did you enjoy it? I don't know anything. I didn't know.
I did. Actually, Grant, I owe you a huge debt of gratitude.
Obviously.
It is because
what
of
for
you.
This time?
It's because of you that I had I enjoyed myself so much because you were talking about this a while ago to me personally.
You're going to insult me.
No, I'm not.
You've set me up so many times.
Your shirt is ugly, and I've already said that.
I knew it. Oh, yeah, I don't care.
I don't do sativa. I'm an indica girly. I do indica into the couch. I don't know sativa. I don't know that lifestyle. I didn't want to drink beer because it gives me a stomach ache, and alcohol's a depressive, and I am naturally a depressive. I'm basically a human alcohol. I said, well, let me see what a sativa is all about. So I got me some sativas, and I got me do you ever drink the PBR THC drinks?
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's just like flavored like drinks made by PBR, but you can get different kinds, like indica, sativa, whatever. So I got like the daytime version.
Just at your at the dispensary?
Yeah.
Huh.
And Michael was telling me, Michael Marino in Chicago. Hello, Michael. Michael was telling me that he just lost his dad last week.
Damn, dude. All right. Sorry, Michael. Hey, Michael.
You know what his dad's name is?
Was.
Nick. I think,
Michael,
you know
I'm
what it
sorry.
is? I think God meant to take our Nick, and he got it mixed up because they're both old.
Yeah, and God is famously known for getting things a little screwy, but we trust him. He's
Oh,
an
you're
awesome
telling me
God.
he flooded
Our
the earth on
God is an
purpose?
awesome
Joke.
God. No, he left his
Anyway,
bathtub running.
Michael
Marino,
Marino
thank you for
has
watching.
told me.
He lost his dad last week.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Michael.
His name was Nick.
It was. It was. He was the sweetest man. Let me tell you. So he was older. Michael's a mistake. Okay. Sorry. Accident.
I thought that the first time I met him. Yeah, first time I met him. That guy's a mistake.
Accident, not mistake. That is no, Michael.
Well,
Michael. Stop listening. Anyway,
Michael.
He's a perfect accident. And so his parents are much older, much like our dad. When I first met him, he used to work for like an alcohol brand or something. I don't remember, but it was like I was in Milwaukee. I was at Michael's childhood home, you know, like meeting his parents, and it was hot. And I remember his dad being like, "You like vodka?" And at the time I was like binge drinking to forget. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll drink anything." And he's like,
Yeah.
"Well, come on out here for a second." We walk out to his Buick out. I don't know if it was a Buick. It's just old white man, I think, Buick.
And
that is
Tiger
in the
Woods.
driveway. Sun is beating down on it. He opens the trunk and it's filled with bottles of flavored vodka. He goes, "Well, here, why don't you take some of this?" And he hands me the hottest bottle of bubblegum vodka I've ever held. But like, that was his way of like, this is how I connect with people. This is how I'm showing you you're all right. Here's some hot vodka. And then he
That
went
is
back to his
so
room.
funny.
Like, he's like, "Oh, I've done my thing, whatever." We were talking to his mom and she, I don't know, I was about to say she recommended it, but I know it was Michael. Michael recommended that we watch him sing Get Down You're Rockin' the Boat" from, what is that from? The Music Man? But
Mulan.
his play in high school. He's like, "Do you want to watch me sing in high school?" And of course I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So he put the tape on, and here, we haven't seen Dad all afternoon. He gave the hot vodka, he left.
Yeah.
He comes out of his room and he goes, "Oh, isn't he good?" And he comes and he just stands with his hands on his hips, and he's looking like he's just standing in the doorway of the room. He's like, "Isn't he great?" And just the whole
What a
time we're
sweet
watching,
guy.
isn't that so
Yeah,
sweet? Isn't that sweet?
it is. I hope that my kids will do something one day that I can be proud of, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
Like, I hope one day they'll have talent.
I texted with Piper for a long time yesterday. It
Really?
made me feel, I felt larger than life. Well, because she asked Angela for nail glue advice. And she's like, "Don't talk to me, talk to your Uncle Drew." So we texted back and forth about nails. And then we started talking about music. I had no idea that Piper was obsessed with Tyler, the Creator. That
a big
blows
deal.
my mind. And
Big
then
deal.
she was like, "But I also like the TV girls, TV people."
TV girl. I've never heard the artist,
Right.
but she
So I
talks
was like,
about it
"Oh,
all
I
the
wonder
time.
what that is." So Curtis looked it up on YouTube, put it on. It's like some crazy indie, you should be in your 30s doing drugs, like in a field, listening to them.
She
Anyway,
likes some
I was
weird
like,
shit.
she's so cool.
And
She's
Tyler, the
just
Creator-
the coolest little kid.
So Piper will get these moments. And so for the people who don't know, it's my daughter. She's 12. She is on the spectrum as well. She will just have these moments where she wants you to come in her room and talk to her. And that's a gift, because normally she hates that you exist and you're breathing the same air that she's breathing. And so the other night,
That's what makes her cool.
Angela said, "Hey, I'll be up in a minute." And so 20 minutes go by, 30 minutes go by, and I was like, "What's going on? Did something wrong with the kids?" And she goes, "No, Piper is talking to me, and I'm in her bedroom, and she like wants to keep talking, and so I'm going to stay in here." Angela comes back in probably like an hour later, and Piper just
my God.
talk. So I bought Piper a record player. She wanted a record player so bad.
Yeah.
And so the first vinyl she got was this Tyler, the Creator vinyl. And she wants the, what's the latest one?
She told me. It's like Kaleidoscope, but it's not Kaleidoscope.
Yeah, it's something
It's
like
something
that.
like that. Yeah.
But and that's his tour right now, which we looked up tickets because he's coming to Orlando next month, and her birthday's next month. It's like all she wants. Drew, what do you think a nosebleed seat to that show costs? Knowing that he has like 7
$250?
shows in in Los Angeles, and he's only got one in Orlando. How much do you think that costs?
$250.
$400 for the nosebleed for one ticket. And Piper goes, this morning she goes, I looked it up and I go, oh, $400. And she goes, so, like, I was like, no, Piper, I
love that girl.
That's not the that's the cheapest price. That's not like, oh, I got a good seat.
A negotiating.
No, this is a nosebleed. So it'd be $400. I said,
I love her.
It'd be $800 because it'd be one for me or mom and then one for you. And she goes, okay. And so 800. So what do we? So I go, how about this? Because she wants the vinyl so bad of that, whatever that one's called, his latest one.
Yeah.
And I said, what if we buy you the vinyl for your birthday? And she goes, oh, yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. Angela comes in the room. Sorry, I got off topic. Angela comes in the room and she goes, it was awesome. She just talked and talked. We talked about everything. And we talked about, oh, have I told you asking her about crushes?
No.
She's been going to theater and
she's 12, right?
Mm-hmm. And she just she hangs around, like, you just see her hanging around with different people every time or whatever, but she kind of stuck in this one group. And she used to always talk about crushes. She'd always be like, Jerry. And so now you're
father-in-law. That's my father-in-law.
Sorry, let's say somebody else that wouldn't be weird. Nick. Shit, I'm bad at this. So
no, that's better.
Sasquatch. So she was like, whatever, but she hadn't mentioned it in a long time. And so we were in the car and I go, hey, Piper, you don't have to tell me anything, but like, you got a little crush? You got a little crush on anybody in that theater group? A lot of cool people running around there. It's kind of your clan. I just wondered. And she goes, no. And I was like, I didn't know she's being coy, like, ask me again. Right. And so I was like, any boys you're talking to? Because she's only ever mentioned boys before. And then she goes, no. And then I was like, well, shit, I don't want to just ask about boys because I don't want her to think that, like, that's, she's pigeonholed. And I was like, are there any girls or is there anybody at all? Anybody at all that you're interested in? She goes, no, Dad, I'm straight, but thanks for asking. And I was like, oh, okay. So Piper's straight. For anyone playing at home, you want to write that down.
Thanks for asking.
She goes, I'm straight, but thanks for asking. So anyway, so Ange comes in and she's like, Piper told me about this and she told me about that. And she said she was so happy to put on her record. She's listened to that album 1,000 times. It's the only one she's had on vinyl. Finally, I think she saved her money and bought a Billie Eilish vinyl like last week. So now she's spinning two. Angela comes in, she goes, have you ever listened to Tyler, the Creator?
Oh, it's not appropriate.
And I was like, yeah. I mean, I think I've heard some of it. And she was like, well, we were just like talking, and then all of a sudden, like, while we're talking, we just hear in the background, like, and you popping that pussy, or something like that, like over here. And Angela was like, I was trying to like ignore it because I didn't want to like embarrass her, like it's a problem. And so she, but like it was just like over and over again. It was like pussy, like whatever. And so Piper finally goes, she finally goes, hey, Mom, I skipped some of them. And so she was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. But whatever. We used to listen to like
Bless her.
Bone Thugs, 666, all that. So anyway,
no, we used to listen to
cool.
I Was Banging on the Counter. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
Or we would listen to, what would you do if your son was at home crying all alone on the bedroom floor because he's hungry, and the only way to feed him is to sleep with a man for a little bit of money and his daddy's gone. But we're smoking rock down in our lockdown. It's a job now. Let me go back to what I was saying 25 minutes ago. So Michael Marino was telling me some of the bars in Chicago now offer the THC PBRs now. Because they're non-alcoholic, but they're just like THC. They're really fun. They're really fun. Anyway, so I was doing that. And because you had told me about sativa, I was able to get high and watch football. And I have to be honest with you, I had a great time. I ate an entire box of Girl Scouts samosas and a sleeve of Thin Mints. And
are they still called
an
Thin
entire
Mints?
Bag of Lays.
I thought they changed the names. Okay.
Depends on where you are. Girl Scout cookies, the names change in regions. Samosas are called samosas are called like Worry Me Not or something. Or Samoas. Samosas are Indian food. Samoas.
Samoas. Yeah.
They're called like something else somewhere else. Yeah, there's multiple ones that are called different things depending on what part of the country you're in.
Hang on.
You've never heard of that?
No. I thought they were just fucking changing the names all the time willy-nilly. That's what I thought.
No.
I thought that
we used to get tag-alongs. Tag-alongs were our favorite, but they're called something else.
They're still my favorite. They're called they're like peanut butter patties something.
Well, Samoas are my favorite now. My grown-up favorite.
Yeah, peanut butter patties.
And I actually do love samosas too. They're just not cookies.
Also, Walmart does a great value version of all of the Girl Scout cookies, and they taste exactly the same.
I don't think we can shop at Walmart, right? DEI. Oh yeah, we're joining tomorrow. DEI.
Wait, they're again? They're not fur?
They rolled back. So
that's what they do. They roll back. Walmart rolls back. That's what they do.
No, I saw this. Okay, you don't know about any of this?
No.
We don't go to Target anymore.
I knew Target was out.
Walmart was. So basically, Trump was like, we don't do DEI anymore. You better stop it. And
what are they supposed to do? They got to stop.
But if companies don't stop, it could be a very costly like lawsuit and like fees and shit like that. Anyway, Target immediately was like, never mind. No more DEI for us. Which like, I got to be honest, doesn't surprise me because you remember last summer when all those right-wing people were complaining about pride stuff and Target just fucking
hook them out.
They took them out. So I'm not surprised by that at all.
Yeah.
However, Costco was like, fuck you, government. We're keeping our DEI program. Like, it's helped us. Like, fuck you. We're keeping it.
Yeah.
And there's only a few like big chains that have done, like Kroger did it. Kroger is standing on business, Costco, and there's been a few others.
Oh, do you know who else major that you're leaving off that list? It's going to surprise you. Chick-fil-A.
Really?
No. So Samoas are caramel delights.
We're joining Costco tomorrow. I'm excited.
We're already Costco members. I was ahead of the curve. I knew they'd do the right thing. Fuck you, Drew. You're just jumping on the bandwagon for the progressive former pastor.
Don't go to Walmart. Is just what I'm trying to say. You fuck. God.
When do you think I can? Do you think there's a day I can? What am I waiting on?
You have 4 kids and you don't make a lot of money. So you know what? You do whatever you need to do to survive. I won't go. I haven't been inside a Walmart in many, many years, but
can you not go for both of us? Here's what I'll do.
Yeah.
I'll go, but the whole time I'll be like, fuck it, Walmart. I'll just grumble the whole time. Fucking Walmart. But I'll be nice to the workers. It's not their fault.
I'll sit at home and I'll go, I'm glad I'm not at Walmart right now. And then I'll just push my hair to the other side.
Since Sam died.
It's gone downhill since Sam died.
Gone downhill
Our dad used to say that all the time.
So Sam
and it was
Walton,
usually in reference to black people shopping at Walmart. That was usually why Dad said.
Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, when he died, my
Sam's
dad,
Club.
When he'd go into Walmart, and usually, yes, there'd be something racial. It'd be racially motivated, and he'd say it to us. But what was worse was he would say it to the employees. Like, or no, sorry. What was worse was he would say it in line in front of the employees to someone else in line. So, like, the checkout person's taking too long. Or, I remember the thing that used to piss him off all the time. They'd go to scan it and it wouldn't work or something. And they'd be like, can you go get another one?
Yeah.
And that was just like,
How
he'd
dare
be
you.
furious.
Yeah.
And he would just be like, God.
He was so charming.
And he would like turn to people and be like, it's not been the same since Sam died. And I like the idea that.
Because Sam died.
Well, there are these like minimum wage workers in Memphis. As soon as Sam Walton's dead, they're like, fuck it. Like, that's what I was worried about. I was worried about that old white guy showing up, but
And this is when they were making $3 an hour. This is not... What were we talking about today? I don't think we were talking about Sam Walton.
We actually never got to it. So, Drew, we have talked in the past about kind of the way we grew up in the church and the purity culture movement, like how they would teach us to keep our bodies pure and how...
For the God.
Everything I can tell, and I believe anything that researchers have found, is that it did quite the opposite. It just
made us all super horny.
Well, not only did it make us super horny, but we were ignorant and super horny. So we didn't know how
didn't know what to
condoms
do.
worked. And we didn't know, we didn't know what STIs were. We didn't know how to go get tested. We didn't know. So we're just fucking around getting people pregnant and getting people making their pee-pees burn in the name of the Lord. And so we did an episode, Drew, where we actually talked about this. We told some kind of funny stories about it. It's actually, I believe, is one of the most listened to or most watched episode we did. People love to hear about Christian wieners and vaginas.
Okay, good.
Maybe more so.
Meg, excuse me, I'm going to have to check out that Virgina.
Virgina. I say it all the time. It's the best line from Family Guy.
It's time to check out that Virgina.
The two best lines from American Dad I say all the time. You better cut that out or we're going to come back here. We're going to do stuff to you because we're the CIA. We're going to do stuff to you. Weird stuff. Butt stuff. So say that all the time.
CIA.
Or then when Roger thinks he's about to die, he yells out, "My only regret is that I didn't watch more TV." But no, we talked about it and it was funny. We told some funny stories. And I was actually listening to a podcast recently that this married couple was on. They were talking about going to a sex therapist. And the thing they were talking to the sex therapist about was kind of unraveling the damage that purity culture had done to them. And now they've been married, I think this couple had been married 15 years or so. They were in their 40s and they were still trying to unravel some of this shit. And I don't know, it made me think a little bit deeper about it. Actually, I found a couple of books that were completely different than the way thinking about sex than the way I'd been raised to think about. And so I read those, I Audible, I listened to those. And yeah, I've just been thinking about it a lot. And Drew, I think there's so much more under the surface. And I think purity culture was so much more destructive and invasive. And I think the thing I hadn't really thought about, and recognized privilege, is I think because I was so hurt by purity culture, I didn't recognize that it was set up, even though it hurt me, it was set up to give me all of the power. Because I'm a white, cisgendered, heterosexual male.
Yeah.
And so I'm a Joe Rogan. Can we just start saying that? It's so much to say the other thing. Can you just say you're Joe Rogan?
Oh, I'm sorry. You want to make it even easier for straight cis white men?
Somebody's got to.
Yeah, that's true.
Look, everyone else is all up in the White House. They're not out here in Florida looking out for me. Well, they are. They actually are in Florida.
Yeah, they're super into Florida.
But recognizing, just having conversations with my wife about how,
gross.
It demonized female sexuality and queer sexuality to the point where, even though, yes, I caught some shrapnel, at the end of the day, it was set up for me to be in power. That when I became an adult, I had power over my wife. I had power over women because I could tell them that their bodies need to be covered, that they're doing something bad by tempting men or whatever, that they have some sort of sexual power that we don't have.
They do, Grant. I mean, have you ever seen a woman's body?
Well,
Excuse me.
I mean, Drew, so one of the books that
Everyone
I picked up,
loves boobs because it provided food at birth.
and they're cool. We should do more ads for body parts.
Boobs. I know, I agree.
Well, yeah, boobs are great, but who's talking about scrotums?
Tits.
Have you ever read The Ethical Slut?
No, but I have been told to read it. Does that count?
Great. It's really, really great.
Can I stop you just for 2 seconds? Number one,
please.
I do want to just pay homage. I think we referenced him during the purity talk, but we recently lost Rashad, the jeweler who made our purity rings, so that we wouldn't fall. Yeah, absolutely. I'm so sorry. You're absolutely right. Oh, actually, we have to put our hats over our wieners.
Mine is over my wiener, Drew. Look how tall
I also
it is.
wanted to pay homage to his art by showing you the purity ring.
Do you have it?
I wear it.
Shut the fuck up. Is that really our purity ring?
Yes, Grant.
Remember I gave
You
you
don't
mine
have
the first time we
yours?
hooked up?
You don't have yours?
Oh my
Really?
God, Drew. Oh
I
my
have
God.
that. I have my class ring. I have those little baby pinky rings we got. Yeah, I have all of it.
I have my class ring.
Okay, so our birthstone's in the middle.
God, I wish I had that.
Our mom and dad's on either side.
Isn't that
Then
so
on one
fucking
side
weird?
is a Bible because the Bible tells you what to do. The other side is a butterfly or an angel. I don't fucking remember. And then
I can't
there's
see
little
it
like
clearly.
holes. There's little like do, and that's
For your
because
dick.
the road is tough. I don't fucking remember. That's our purity ring.
Wow, Drew. Can I say there was a standard purity ring, True Love Waits ring that was going around. That was a heart, and it had like a crown on it, and it had a hand. It had hands. So like the band was the arms, and it was like hugging the heart. And I thought it looked like stupid as shit.
You don't know what it is, do you?
No, what is that?
It's an Irish thing. It's a traditional Irish thing.
Why was it True Love Waits? Why did True Love Waits take it?
Because it's kind of saying the same thing of like, if you wear it with the heart facing out, it means that you're looking for love. And if you're wearing it with the heart facing in, it means you found it. It's like a symbol of like finding the one.
But why would you be looking for love? Like why are you putting this ring on that's like, I need to keep it in my pants? Don't put a ring on that's like, anyone can have it.
It's called the...
One more time.
It's a traditional Irish ring in which a heart represents love, the crown stands for loyalty, and two clasped hands symbolize friendship.
Okay, let me say this. Thank you for teaching me that. To all of our Irish listeners, I apologize, but I also want to say your ring is shit, and the ring that we got, that Riyadh made us, is dope. That ring, Drew, can I tell you?
Did I call him Rashad?
You did. It's fine. I knew what you meant. That ring is so awesome. Forget how fucking weird it is that our parents' birthstone is on either side of us, being like, we're going to make sure you keep it in your pants.
We had a shiny jewelry piece as a child. I was obsessed with this ring. I thought it was the coolest fucking thing.
And it is cool. It's really gay. I love it. I wish I knew where mine was. That sucks that I don't have it.
Well, you're not very pure. You fingered your wife on a couch. That's on you,
everywhere.
bro.
You know we did that in your bed, right?
Ew, this is so dirty. Oh, I did plenty in yours. This is so
Fuck, I was
dirty.
joking. Damn it.
Me too. I was too.
Ugh. Anyway,
what were you saying about being pure?
The ethical slut. That's what I was talking about. I remember those.
You remember those little pinky rings we got?
I don't know where mine is. I don't know where any of that shit is. I have my class rings.
Me too, right here.
That's all I have. Oh, you got that big old silver one. Yeah, I remember you getting that one.
Big honky one. Because it was the shiniest.
Nuh-uh. Mine's gold and it's got the diamonds around it.
Faggot.
I actually don't know where it is because I let my kids take it one day and I was like, I don't fucking care. Do whatever you want with it. So it's probably, I don't know, in a crick. Drew, the ethical slut's fantastic. It references like the history of a lot about female sexuality, but it references the history of the way that we viewed sexual relationships and sexuality. And I mean, there were a lot of beliefs, speaking of how they demonize female sexuality and of course queer sexuality, there were a lot of beliefs about women did have a sexual power or prowess that men didn't have, and therefore it must have been something evil. So, for example, I don't know if you know this, Drew, women can have multiple orgasms. Did you know this? Like back to back. Did you know this?
Did you
know
this?
This?
Yes, I do. I'm so happy for them.
I didn't believe it.
Done.
I didn't believe it. I was like, no.
He had to read
way.
about it.
Yeah, she has one on our anniversary, maybe.
All right.
Oh, brother.
If we have guests over, she's coming.
Hang on. Because she likes to host, or is this like a gangbang situation?
She's a gorgeous host. I just want everyone to know I'm having so much fun. I came.
That's why I'm wearing 2 aprons. What? So women can have multiple orgasms. Men obviously have one, which there's a biological reason for that, right? It's so men like won't fucking keep killing each other trying to find a mate, and females will have the best chance of having an offspring. So the ancient people would look at that and go, oh, their sexual desire is insatiable. And in fact, they talked about there was a time where the Jewish view of Eve, that her like biting the apple, all of that was a sexual allegory. All of it. The angel or God or whatever the fuck, God was like, don't eat out of this one. And she was like, a fucking cat, right? Like, because she has this insatiable sex drive. That's actually what it's talking about. So there was this belief in that. There's this belief that there was something like evil because it could never be satisfied. And I didn't realize just how much that still permeated our culture. And then when I looked at purity culture, I was like, everything that I read in The Ethical Slut and everything I read in that talked about those horrible ways we viewed sexuality, it was all in purity culture. One of the things that they introduced was the scarcity mindset, was one of the things they talked about a lot, which is that we have this idea around love and around sexual expression that there's only a limited amount. That if I am to give this to somebody, then it takes away from me, therefore I can't give to someone else. And they were saying that's just not true. I don't think anyone would argue that love is the most powerful thing we have.
Love.
It is the most powerful force we have. And so the idea that there is a limited the idea that there's a limited amount, or the idea that to give love to somebody takes something from you, therefore you can't give love to someone else, is a ridiculous idea. So for example, Angela and I, at one point, it was just the two of us and we loved each other. And then we had Max, and we loved Max, but I didn't love Angela less. And then we had the twins, but I didn't love Max and Angela less. And then we had Wit, and I didn't love the twins and Max less, but I loved Angela just a little bit less. Sure. So you put that scarcity mindset into sex, and you get some really gross ideas. And so one of them is around the anal.
It's gross, because poop comes out of that.
One of them is around the idea of virginity, that it is something that you have and it's something that can be taken from you, or something that you give away, and therefore you are less than because you don't have it anymore. And we still carry that idea that it's something you can give, it's something that can be taken, it's something, and once it's gone, it's gone. And there's this really gross analogy. Drew, did you ever have this in any of your youth groups? Gum. Is this the analogy?
Yeah, the chewing gum analogy.
Oh, no, I don't know. Go ahead. Tell me that
toothpaste? Or was it toothpaste?
I want to hear all of them. Please tell me all the analogies you can remember.
I was so confident.
I was thinking of.
I was so confident. I was like,
I love it, though.
Oh, chewing gum?
You know about chewing gum? Go ahead.
No, that if you chew gum,
okay,
and then you're finished with it, so you take it out and you put it under a table, someone's not going to be looking for gum to chew and reach for that gum. Or if you use toothpaste, can you put the toothpaste back in the bottle after you've pushed it out of the bottle? No, you can't. It's too late. It's used. It's gone. You got to get rid of it. And that's the virginity. Like, you're the chewed up piece of gum, or you're the toothpaste that can't go back in the bottle. Like, your virginity is that toothpaste, and now it's gone.
I'm sorry to my future spouse, I can't give you this precious gift because I already gave it to someone else. Which, by the way, the first time you have sex, you're real bad at it. It's bad.
Yeah,
it's not bad. Good. It's bad.
There's a lot of giggling.
There's a lot of giggling. Can I tell you that?
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Drew, let me tell you. Listen.
No.
The analogy I was going to say that you didn't know, but it's the same analogy, was they would pass a rose around. They would show this beautiful rose, and then they would pass it.
And everyone would take a petal.
No, it would just get mangled being passed through 100 kids' hands. So by the time it got back to the front, it looked like shit. And then they would hold it up next to another perfect rose, and then they'd be like, now,
they pick a rose because it kind of looks like a vagina? Is that like their vague?
Can I tell you? Yes. I don't think they would say that, and I don't think that they would know that. But does the rose absolutely represent a woman? Was that what was in all of our heads? Fuck yes, it was. Yes, it was. 100%. And so there's this scarcity mindset that they put in you that
there's plenty of pussy for everybody, okay?
There's just plenty of pussy, and that's really what today's all about. Guys, there's plenty of pussy out there. Just go get your pussy.
I've got so much pussy, I'm swimming in it.
But Drew, I think it impacted female sexuality more than anything. I mean, I think it hit all of us, but really female sexuality more than anything, because that was, when you talked about women losing their virginity, that's what it is. It's losing their virginity.
It's damaged.
Yeah, they were damaged. So Drew, can I ask, because again, I think this is set up.
Did I ever view Angela as damaged? Yes.
Obviously, this whole system, this whole purity culture was set up for the Joe Rogans. I think that's one of the main ways it was weaponized against women, is that they would be damaged, they would be less than. And so, Drew, can you tell me, from the queer perspective, how was this purity culture demonizing queer sexuality? I mean, other than outright being you're fucking disgraceful or whatever.
I would say it wasn't really the main thing that, for me personally, affected like my sexuality and my identity with sex. I think it just added to the negative feelings I had about myself. I think the main thing was just the abomination and, AIDS is God's punishment and all of that. When purity culture was introduced, it really was just like another sexual kind of hurdle. Like, well, here's another thing that you're doing wrong. You're supposed to wait until marriage. So, like, not only is gay sex wrong, but, like, any sex is wrong. So,
sex with yourself is wrong.
Things.
Yeah.
Sex with yourself is wrong. Yeah. And I will say that it made... Ooh, this is about to get really dark. I'm so sorry, everyone.
Here we go.
Trigger warning.
Here we go.
At the
I knew
beginning
you'd
of the
take us here.
episode.
I knew it'd be here at some point.
It made me even more vulnerable to predators because the being taught that once you lose your virginity, once you lose your sexual purity, you're damaged, you're dirty, you're gross.
Yep.
That I was already damaged and dirty and gross. And
so what does it matter? Yep.
On top of that, I didn't know anything. I didn't know what sexual acts were. I didn't know what was okay and what wasn't okay. So here I am just feeling like, well, I've already damaged goods.
Yep.
And I don't know what to do. And so a lot of my abusers, when I was a child, a teen, it was a perfect breeding ground for them because I was so naive. I didn't know what anything meant.
Yep.
And I'm sure that is a common queer response to purity culture. I will say too, because you'd mentioned earlier you had friends that went to sex therapy. Was that it? Was that what you were talking about?
No, it was a podcast. But I think everyone I listen to on podcasts are friends. That's how I describe them to people. They feel like
friends. And everyone that listens to us is our friend, by the way.
You're all
if
of
you're
our
listening,
friends.
You're
if you're in LA and you need a place to
friend.
stay, go to Studio City.
Studio City.
Go to
once you
4337
Mark Hamill wandering around, you're in the right place.
Right.
Okay. So I went to sex therapy.
Brag.
You're never a former addict, I know, but I feel like I'm out of the woods. I've been out of the woods for a while now. I was in 12-step.
Famous last words.
And exactly. I was in 12-step for sex addiction, and that's initially how I got things more under control. I wouldn't say fully under control, but more under control. Within that, like you go around the room and you're like, hi, my name is Drew. I'm a sex addict. Hi, Drew. And you talk.
Everyone was named Drew. That's incredible.
Every single sex addict was. Well, that's what I'm saying. Why aren't we talking about this? Stop naming your kid Drew. They're going to fuck. But there were other people that would say, hi, I'm Drew, a sexual anorexic. And then we'd be like, hi, Drew. And I couldn't fathom sexual anorexia. So sexual anorexia is defined as just like no sexual desire at all. Similar to asexual, except that asexuality is its own thing. And so it's people who have just never felt that sexual desire. They don't have a sexual attraction to people. The sexual anorexia is people who used to be super into sex and then suddenly they've lost it completely.
Yeah.
And I never understood that. I was like, well, I'm a sex addict. I will never feel anorexic. Like I will be fucking forever. And then
thank you.
Through 12-step, as much as it helped me, and it really did, as much as it helped me, it did some of the language around it, because sex addiction is the same program as AA. They took the AA everything and then they just changed it to sex. But it's the same exact thing. AA is founded very much in a religious world. Like I could go to Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous, I could go to Sexual Compulsive Anonymous, and I could go to Sexual Addicts Anonymous, but I couldn't go to sex... What was it? Maybe, I don't know. One of them, just like the SA, just like the plain sex addicts. That's it. Like Sex Addicts Anonymous, whatever that was. That one was like very religious. That one was founded on the exact same principles as AA. And plus, we're leaning into the Christianity of it. It's man and woman only, so I wasn't allowed to go to those meetings because I was wrong because of God. But there's still a lot of that.
Fuck it. Like let you die. Like if you come in, you're like, I need help. And they're like, the help you need pussy. And if you said no, they're like, fuck it,
they would
dude,
direct
go
you
die.
towards like the other programs.
Someone who could help you.
exactly.
It's so stupid. God.
So the program was very much still had all of those kind of religious, shame-feeling under layers of it.
Yeah.
And so I eventually left the program, and that's exactly what happened to me. I immediately became a sexual anorexic. All of my desire suddenly went away, which was so strange because I was a sex addict for at that point, 2 decades? I was hyper active sexually. And then suddenly it was all gone. And so I went to a sex therapist. And in my mind, I was
your
like,
sex therapist was like, "What's that behind your ear?" and pulls out your sexual desire. And it was back.
Oh, sorry.
Here it is.
I thought it was
Here's
just
your sex
a load.
drive.
Okay, no, you're absolutely right.
Oh.
No, but I thought, okay, a sex therapist, it's going to be so...
Let's talk about your dick. Now let's talk about your dad's dick.
It's going to be so, hippie. It's going to be all very, feel your body. And, for this session, you're going to jerk off
Feel
and
my
I'm just going
body.
to watch. Yeah, I thought it would be something like that. But no, she's just, a regular therapist who helps you unpack the sexual stuff as if you're talking about your anxiety or anything else, And I've seen a lot of therapists in my time.
Right.
And I will say my sex therapist I had for 2 years, and I truly believe she changed my life forever.
Patricia,
I do believe I am.
We are so grateful to you.
Her name is Rachel,
and
I'm obsessed with her, and I mourn the loss of her. I had to stop going to her when I moved to California. She stayed in Chicago. I told her I would pay for her moving costs.
You said mourn.
I would help her get her practice started out here, but she said no. No, but she saved my life, and she allowed me to renegotiate my relationship with sex in a way that I don't feel the same way about sex that I did when I was in active sex addiction. But I'm not sexually anorexic anymore. And so when you hear people talking about going to sex therapy or, whatever, I just want people to better contextualize, it's just therapy. It's still it's over Zoom. You're talking to a therapist. I would tell her she was my therapist. She was my sex therapist, but everything was related to everything, So
But it took you a minute to learn that, right? You didn't know. So your first session, remember you were so butt plug in or out? And she was like, Drew,
I had mailed
showing it to me, please.
I had mailed her the remote to my butt plug. And I said, I'm ready. Yeah. It's in. Go ahead. Tease me. And she said, no.
Let's get this session started. She goes, no. No, but I tell you when I press the button.
Exactly. No, but the shame I felt around my sexual desire that led, I think, to my sexual anorexia, even though it wasn't directly from a church, it was still those kind of Christian church ideas that AA was founded on that kind of seeped into all 12-step programs that helped cause that. And I'm not saying that 12-step will always do that for everybody, but it was through my sex therapy and through my recovery in sex therapy that I realized that was my experience. It did help me out a lot, but it also kind of helped bring in that religious shame again. Helped kind of force that into my life again.
You mentioned that it made you more vulnerable. I think one of the big things that we just talked about recently, Angela and I talked about recently, was the misinformation about our bodies and about even not understanding masturbation and not understanding self-sex. And when you do that, what evangelical Christianity taught us, what purity culture taught us, was that there's a bad desire inside of you. Now, that desire, it's magic because once you get married, it's going to become a good desire. But right now, it's a bad desire. And so you can't trust it, meaning you can't trust your own body. So if I don't know what makes my body feel good and what makes me feel secure and safe, how will I possibly understand consent? How will anyone possibly understand consent?
Exactly.
And so you have women in these evangelical marriages who are undergoing marital rape because they don't understand consent. They don't understand how to listen to their own bodies. They don't understand that they have autonomy over themselves and over their sexuality.
Well, they shouldn't.
Well, thankfully, thankfully that's what's happening in our country now. And then also beyond consent, which should be enough, how can you have a healthy sex life if you don't even understand your own body? If I can't have a healthy sex life by myself, how in the world am I going to add another person to that and be like, now I get it. Now I get it. Now I get what I want. I mean, you understand what you want clearly, and now we can communicate about it. No, these are thoughts we were told to push down and ignore, and then all of a sudden, it's supposed to be good, and it's supposed to be healthy, and it's insane, and it makes people vulnerable, like you just said, and it makes people unable to understand permission and consent, and it makes people unable to own their own selves and own their own bodies, and it causes like the worst, like just mental distress, like constant mental distress. Like my wife constantly thinking, after we were adults, after we're married, we're adults, we have fucking kids, and she's like agonizing over, is this shirt too low? Is this shirt, is it going down too low? And I was like, who the fuck are you answering to? What do you mean? Does it feel good on you? Does it make you feel good about yourself? Do you feel confident? Fucking wear it. What are you worried about? You know, but like that's that little voice that's in the back of her head, right? It's bullshit. And it's one of the things, like, I don't know, it's, God, it's one of the things I'm so grateful for about getting my kids out of that fucking place is I don't want them to ever feel like they can't trust their bodies. I don't want them to ever feel like there's just something intrinsically wrong with them.
Well, that's kind of that's kind of the overarching thing we've talked about since the beginning of time. Heaven and earth, Genesis, is
dinosaurs.
The church, they were created the same time everyone else was created, by the way.
Well, on like the second day.
The church tells you not to trust yourself because you're evil. And that's just your thoughts as a child. But then your body starts to change. And so that training you've had of like, well, don't trust any thought you ever have, because that's evil, then your body starts to change and you're like, well, I can't trust my mind, so I'm definitely not going to trust all this, you know? So it's like this built-in system of checks and balances, but it's just you. It's just you. And the only help, quote unquote, you get is going to church on Sundays and being told, don't listen to that. Don't listen to your body.
Don't you fucking
your body's
listen
wrong.
to that.
Evil.
Right.
Evil.
And
anyway.
And it caused like so much distress. I mean, Drew, I can't imagine what you went through. I can't imagine what the queer experience is like to have this absolutely normal, natural, biological urge and then to just be told like, that's a fucking demon. Like, you got to push it down. But like my version of that was there's a quote attributed to Jesus that if you have lust in your heart for a woman, then you committed adultery. And so
Which sucks. Don't do that, guys.
I had this mental distress, not only as a teenager, but even into adulthood, where I would just, every time I fucking left my house, if I saw an attractive woman, I'd be like, oh God, please forgive me. I would avoid certain places because I knew, like, it's Florida.
Because bitches be too hot.
Bitches be too hot, right? So you stay away from the 7-Eleven. You stay away from the Wawa, right? Like, because that's where the bitches be too hot. But it's just this absolute crazy mental distress because you're told not to trust your own body, and then it just fucking destroys you and it just hurts you. I may have told this story. There's only one person from my old church that after we left, what happened? Oh, Angela got us fired.
Oh, God, what a bitch.
After we left and kind of
like because of her top. Probably went too low.
Exactly. Them titties. The smoke had cleared and we had started to see like clearly like, oh shit, this was fucked. This whole thing was fucked. There was only honestly, Drew, one person that I wanted to go apologize to. There's only one person I felt true guilt and shame about. I think I've told this before. There was a young woman, she was in her 20s, and she was on one of our volunteer teams. And she was super plugged in, super involved, but she's single. So she's like dating around and whatever. And
Whore.
Exactly. Well, kind of, that's where it went. There was a woman who was on this same volunteer team and they got to talking and she was just talking about all these relationships she had been having or whatever. And I don't know how it came up that she was sleeping with all these people, but people lost their shit over it. Like absolutely lost their shit over it. To the point where they came to me and were like, you have to do something. And I was like, fuck, I have to do something. And so I went and had a conversation with someone about their private sex life that had nothing to do with me. And you know what I said, Drew? I used the scarcity mindset, like you're giving part of your heart away.
Oh my God.
You're creating sexual ghosts that are going to follow you into your relationship.
Grant, I have
Drew,
to say it, and I mean this. You have to kill yourself. You have to. You have to. Look what you've done.
Can I tell you? Listen, hang on. It ends well. Drew, can I remind you, the person who's saying this only ever been with my wife. So I'm going, if you have all these sexual relationships, you're going to have all these regrets and you're going to create these sexual ghosts. They're going to follow you around, whatever. Bitch, what are you talking about? You've been with one woman this whole time. She's standing right there. What are you talking about? So I had this conversation with her.
It's a hot woman. You got lucky.
Oh, yeah, super hot.
Super weird.
So I caught her at a good time. I got her in high school.
She was so vulnerable.
Her self-esteem was so low.
The church was beating her down.
It worked for me. It can work for you. She was really kind. She was really gracious. I hadn't spoken to her in years because she had moved away before I had left the church. And so
she fucked everybody. She was like, well, there's no one left here to fuck. She looked around,
and she was like, So I reached out to her, and I just said, I hope you're doing well. I have been nervous, and you're the only person I've wanted to reach out to and apologize to. I owe you a deep apology. I feel so much shame every time I think about you. And she's like, why? And so we get on the phone. She was so kind, so kind. And I just told her, I said, I was wrong and the church was wrong and you were 100% right. Like, you listen to your body. Because I remember in the conversation, one of the things she said to me when I was confronting her about something that was none of my fucking business, she was like, I don't get it. I feel good. It adds to my life. I feel happy. I feel good. The other person is consenting. They feel happy. They feel good. What's the problem? And there's an old quote in evangelicalism. God cares more about your holiness than he does about your happiness, Drew.
God cares more about your holiness than he does your holes.
Getting filled. She was so unbelievably kind. And I just told her, I said, you were right. You listen to your body. The church was trying to control you. I was fucking trying to control you. And you did the right thing. And I want to be more like you. You were more kind and loving and compassionate than I was. And than anyone fucking was. And I'm sorry. And she was so unbelievably kind. And then she said, can I make you feel better with my body?
Have sex
and
with
I was
you?
like, yes, that's what this was all about.
That sounds like her. That sounds like her, yeah.
Drew, can I tell you, I talked to a person who was a friend who stayed in the church, not in that church, but stayed a Christian. And I was talking to them about all this. And I just said, purity culture was so fucked up, but it's not just that purity culture is fucked up. This whole thing, man, is this patriarchal system that just fucks over women, and it fucks over everybody. It tells everybody not to trust themselves, but specifically, it does a hell of a job fucking over women and fucking over queer people, just tearing any sense of self away from them to keep the power and art, whatever. It's bullshit. And why can't we trust ourselves? Fuck what the Bible says. Why can't I trust myself? Because at the end of the day, when I say the Holy Spirit,
demon.
Well, when the Holy Spirit led me, or we always would say that, well, God, I feel led by the Spirit. Bitch, that's you. That's your fucking brain. And so,
no.
What's different?
No, Grant, that's so fucked up. You can't say that, because when I was in college, one of my friends got broken up with because her boyfriend said that God led him to do it. That God told him they weren't supposed to be together.
True. They could have been lying.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This goes all the way to the top.
Breakups
This
are
goes
hard.
all the way to the top.
They could have been lying. We just need to trust ourselves and trust our bodies. And a sexual connection is a meaningful and joyful one. And why the fuck are we letting this ancient
But it doesn't
book...
have to be meaningful and joyful, by the way. It can also just feel good and be quick.
Yeah. Well, I would say that was joyful. If it feels good,
sure.
Then that joy
Not
doesn't give you joy.
Though.
No.
I don't want to feel meaning. Speaking of,
I don't know
are
about
you watching
meaning.
Laid Are you watching Laid on Peacock?
No, let me finish. Sorry. Let me finish this one thing, this one idea.
Laid on Peacock. Okay.
Laid on Peacock. So I was like, why can't it be that? Like, why is that not good enough? Why are we letting this book, this ancient book that defines marriage, which, by the way, marriage didn't fucking start in the Bible, but Christians will say that. They'll say, like, well, God gave us marriage and we have Christian marriage. No, motherfucker, we've been pairing up forever. As long as humans can human, we've been fucking pairing up. But, like, why are we letting this book that's like, hey, listen, this is how it works. You need to, like, buy land and all that shit. Why are we doing that? I don't go to the fucking Bible and go, hey, my kids talk back to me. How big of a stone can I hit them with? You know, like, I don't fucking do that. But why are we? But it doesn't matter.
What is the answer to that? I would love to know.
Like a small pigeon.
Thank you.
So he pushed back and he said something that is absolutely the mindset of the evangelical Christian when it comes to you talking about, hey, what if we're wrong about these sexual lines that have been drawn for us by old dead white men? What if we're wrong? What if we could, I don't know, trust ourselves? What about that? And he said, so it's a logical fallacy. It's a slippery slope argument. He says, well, where do you draw the line? And hey, queer people, I know you've heard this. Drew, I know you've heard this. If we allow gay marriage, people are going to start marrying children. If we allow gay marriage, people are going to start marrying animals.
We've been marrying children and animals for years. Okay. There's a beautiful couple down the street. It is a goat and a 6-year-old. And they have a love that I have never seen.
Bill and Linda.
Yeah.
Bill and Linda. Oh,
Linda's
beautiful.
Obviously the 6-year-old. It's such a youthful name.
Beautiful couple.
Mm-hmm. Gorgeous.
So I said, no, listen, the line is simple, man. The line is consent. And everything else is none of your fucking business. Children can't consent. That takes care of that. Fucking animals can't consent. Dr. Doolittle can fuck a goat. That's fine. Because I'm assuming that he's gotten consent, which is the only reason you have that power.
Well, and just keep in mind, Grant, that the reboot of Dr. Doolittle was his daughter. So Dr. Doolittle's not always a man. Wow.
Dr. Doolittle, the daughter, she can fuck a goat. Everybody's fucking goats. What I'm trying to get to.
Did I tell you I saw Raven Simone in person the other day?
Wait, what day? This is important. What day? How long ago?
Like 2 weeks ago.
You don't know exactly?
Mm-mm. Did you see Raven?
I saw Raven Simone fucking 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that's so funny. Where'd you see her?
I'm making this up. I was really hoping you had said a date. I was going to say the same day, and I was just going to keep it going.
Oh, but you go to Disney World all the time. I would assume you see celebrities.
Oh, that's a good point. All right, go ahead. Sorry. You saw Raven Simone in person. How was it? Was she so Raven?
She was so Raven. I was honestly like, fuck. She's almost too Raven. No, it's when we were doing Sloppy Seconds and we were in a studio and she walked by, and then when we came out of the studio, we heard her in her studio doing her podcast.
So again, the line is consent and everything else is none of your fucking business. And he goes, well, so like then you can have multiple people get married? And I go, you mean like in the Bible? Yeah, you can. Like, however adults want to commit or not commit to each other, what the fuck? Why is that your fucking business? Like, the line is consent.
We should be more concerned.
Leave it the fuck
We should be
alone.
more concerned about how many husbands kill their wives.
I started to watch Obituary
It's a
on
lot,
Hulu, Drew,
especially
and
Disney
I love it.
adults.
Thank
Isn't
you
it
for
so
recommending
good?
it. I love it. I love
Isn't
it. I
it
love
great?
it. I love it.
What was
Thank
that
you.
show?
So
what was
good.
that show that's similar that you were talking about? I can't remember what it is.
Sweet Pea on Showtime.
Sweet Pea on
Sweet Pea.
Showtime. Just Sweet Pea. Laid on Peacock. This woman, everyone she's ever slept with is dying, and they're dying in the order she slept with them. So she's trying to solve the mystery. It is so funny. It's so
like
good.
Good
It's
Luck
on Peacock.
Chuck, but the opposite. Good Luck Chuck,
But the opposite.
Bad luck.
Everyone she's ever
Charlotte.
slept with is dying.
That's kind of cool.
One of them being John Early. It is so funny. And John Early plays John Early. It's so funny.
It's funny.
It's very, very funny.
Think about this for a second. Christian marriage is just killing it, right? Like our understanding of monogamy and Christian marriage, just absolutely killing it. 50% end in divorce. Of the 50% that don't, 26% cheat on each other. So 24%, as far as we know, are making it, and we don't know if they're happy. That doesn't count. That's not saying 24% are happy. There's just 24% who fucking stick it out. and don't cheat on each other. Is that a huge success rate? If I was like, hey, Drew, you're like, you know what? I would like to get I'd like to do the Brad Pitt. I'd like to get the new facelift. I'd like to get the Pedro Pascal, if you don't mind. I'd like to get the new facelift.
I want that.
And I was like, I do too. I told Angel the other day, I think I'm going to have it one day. And I was like, hey, listen, it works 24% of the time. And you're like, 24%? What happens the rest of the time? Your face falls off. It melts. It falls off. Your eyes go to it just goes to your neck. All your face goes to your neck. That's not a fucking success. And so like, hey, don't tell me that this is the fucking way. Oh, speaking of Pedro Pascal, this is the way. You don't get that, The Mandalorian. Don't tell me this is the way when it's only successful 24% of the fucking time. That's so stupid. Like, anyway, it's ridiculous. Sorry.
And I've always said that.
Yeah.
I've always said that about numbers. It's ridiculous, and we shouldn't use them.
For us, and I know a lot of our listeners, they have kids as well. Angela and I have been having a ton of conversations about how to teach our kids differently about all of this, like to break that cycle. So we just constantly have open and honest conversations with them about sex and about like masturbation and about the desires that they have and things like that. And we want to encourage them to have open, honest conversations.
Can you imagine if we had that? Can you imagine? Can you imagine if when our parents walked in on you and me as preteens fucking the furniture or the floor? We used to do that all the time.
They never saw the type of furniture. Listeners, the furniture we had. Hot.
Mom would say, stop hurting yourself. And then that would be it. That would be all we would know, is that what we were doing was hurting. So it had to be evil.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if she'd walked in and said, hey, there's a different way to do that, and I'll tell you why you want to do that. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd be straight right now.
You're actually not hurting yourself. What you're doing.
Well, technically we were. What we were doing with our wieners was physically hurting.
It up. Yeah, that was not But you know what I mean? It was it was like a shame thing. It was like, you're fucking up. Stop fucking up. But I think like, I just want to, like, we want to constantly encourage our kids. Like, this is stuff we talk about. Like, the stigma is gone, or we're trying to make sure it's gone. And I try to make sure that I have like one-on-one time with my kids. And when I'm in the car, like one-on-one with them, I'll ask them questions like, hey, tell me about this. You know, like, do you have any questions? Anything going on at school you want to talk to me about? Do you have any questions about like dealing with anything difficult with your friends? Hey, we talked about sex before. We talked about like masturbation and all that. So you have any questions about that? Can I help you with any of that? And one of the things too is I always say to my kids, like, when it comes to this realm of things, there may be consequences because the things you've done like merit those, but not from me. Like, there may be consequences from other people, but if you come to me, like, I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you figure this out. Like, I'm not going to punish you when you come to me and say, I'm
your lawyer. Whatever you say to me, I can't use against you.
And then teaching them, like, trying to have this language with them. And when I talk to my boys, and when Angela's had conversations with Piper, we talk about like, hey, your body is your body and it's good. We don't talk about a sin nature that's inside of it and it's broken and that's going to want to get them in trouble and all that fucked up stuff. We're like, your body is good and it's yours to understand. It's yours to explore. It's yours to trust. It's yours to enjoy. And like, as you do that, you're going to have questions and you're going to wonder things about that. And so you can come talk to us, but listen, it is your body. No one gets to tell you what to do with it. And that also means, by the way, that people that you care about, like if you get in a dating relationship, they don't get to tell you what you do with your body. They don't get to tell you what feels good for you. They don't get to tell you when your body's ready for something. You are in complete control of your body. And like, I never had that. I had never had that conversation.
I did.
They use it on you, and it worked so well.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. It's shitty, man. It's like, it's so insidious, and God, it's just so fucked up. I don't know. Sorry, this one's not ending on a hopeful note. It's so fucked up.
No, it is. Hearing you say that about what you're saying to your kids, it is very hopeful, coming from someone who couldn't even fathom that conversation with our parents. Like, I think it ends on an extremely hopeful note. The fact that there are 4 kids who are not going to have the experience we had, I think it's great. That's good news.
3. We've decided, like, we're going to have one control. So we take one of them to church every Sunday, every Wednesday.
Sure.
We shame the shit out of them. But the other 3 feel pretty good.
I was going to say, it does, and I'm glad you picked Jude, because, you know, I have experienced that. and he's me. So like I know
Oh my God,
all
he's
that's
you.
going to happen is he's just going to become a sex addict and try and kill himself and those around him. That's it. That's
Oh my God, he's you.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching.
Patrons, thank you, patrons. Thanks for always being there, always supporting and loving.
All
Patrons,
right.
thank you.
Well, I'm gonna go cry. Thank you, patrons.
Thank you, patrons.
And we'll
trust
see you next
yourself.
week.
Trust your bodies.
Trust the skin you're
They're
in.
the only ones you got.
That's Watson's.